Baby, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jay. Hi, nice to meet you.
Pleasure is all mine. Nice to meet you.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm pretty
Oh,
excited.
that's amazing.
I'm excited for today. I'm excited to talk to each one of you, and I'm excited for today's topic. So,
That's awesome. That's great. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
oh, no problem.
Really need that.
This is my passion, which you guys will probably feel in this presentation.
Mhm.
This is my passion, what I love to do, and I'm looking forward to connecting with a lot of each one of you a little bit more one-on-one within the platform, and kind of just continue to share some of the stuff that I've learned over the last decade plus, working with startups and entrepreneurs
Mm.
and really the business side of things. So what I want to do is really help, our community focus not only on the front end, which is the service that they're delivering, but the back end, how to make sure that they're thinking about the business and how to make sure that they create a business that they can then run and scale if they need to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I agree. We need that. We need the background and the knowledge to do all these things. Thank
Hi,
you.
baby.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Not bad.
Good.
Actually, very well. Yeah. Oh,
Eleanor.
Who's here too? Karen, Eleanor, Roy. Yay!
Karen.
We have the whole crew here.
Going down, guys.
Hey.
And his own daughter traumatizing me.
Awesome.
I would go in there and take
Arvell, Chris,
What's
What's
going on,
up?
Roy?
TV, Ellie there.
hola.
Nobody got through or eat without making mistakes.
Awesome. So I'm gonna give it just a little
Right
longer.
now, how do you feel?
All right, can everyone just mute their,
Yep. Able to really through these.
Perfect. So I'm gonna give us just a little while longer, look through our participation attendee list and see who has stated they're coming. All right, we've got the majority of everyone on board. Oh my goodness, look, Jen's in the house. Yes. So let's dive right in. I'm really excited to actually, talk to you guys today, and really talk about this topic, which is your specialty and the niche, right? Or niche, however you decide to say it. The meaning is still the same. It's what you focus on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen and then we're gonna get started. So I'll ask you guys to let me know when you can see my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen. Perfect. So, welcome to the Zen Art of Business Masterclass. We're talking about today, which is Business 101. And the series that I've designed for this platform is the Business 101 series. And so today we're really gonna start diving in. Today's topic is really all about your niche. But first, let me get started by saying thank you. Thank you for choosing me on your journey in entrepreneurship. The majority of us here are entrepreneurs, so I know what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I know how much time is of the essence and how valuable time is to each one of you. And I'm just grateful to have you here. I'm grateful you're taking time out on your Saturday to spend time with me. And I'm hoping you find this very valuable. So I'm looking forward to really diving straight in and at least providing you guys with some insight on your niche. So let's dive in. Today's topic is the importance of your niche, right? And we're talking about Business 101. Our target audience here is content creators. We're creating content on either YouTube, Instagram, even maybe directing at Facebook, right? And so today's program, the course that I'm designed is to bring a mindset shift into business, focusing on a balanced strategic view when engaging in entrepreneurship, right? So this course is to be set as a foundation laying course for mindset shift. Everything I'm going to be talking is always going to be about mindset. So for anyone new to entrepreneurship, or looking into entrepreneurship and you want to get into it, for the majority of us here, we're either been content creators for a while or we're looking to become content creators and we want to start learning. This is to help you start getting that foundational learning, right? So if you're a current day entrepreneur, this you can be seen as a trip back to basics, right? And doing the basics right is really what allows most of us to succeed. So you can review things you already know, or you may not in fact be practicing. And you may learn a few new techniques throughout the series of our conversations together, or different modes of thinking that'll help you just kick your game up a notch, right? So who am I? Let's start with who am I, to kind of level set. So my name is Arvell Anthony. I am the owner of a company called Vorre Consulting. Vorre is Italian, it means I want. So the premise of my business is I want those who want consulting, right? And Vorre Consulting is really a strategic management consulting firm. It's dedicated to client efficiency. So we help creative entrepreneurs first evaluate, then adapt, and then transform their business models for growth, which is really increased monetization, and then expansion, which is like growing your team and your operations and understanding how to make sure that you can scale effectively, right? So for the last 12 years, I've been consulting, working with startups as well as Fortune 500 companies. I worked a lot with startups really to help me find where my sweet spot is, and we'll talk about that in a little while. Some of the startups I've worked with are companies like a company called Obelisk Tower. They were actually trying to bring free Wi-Fi to the planet, at least for a 2 to 5 mile radius, right? They were based in upstate New York. A company called Stax Effects. They are a boutique guitar pedal company. A lot of creatives out in LA, and they came up with this great idea, saw a need in the market, and they were looking to fill it. A company called Chef Elamine. They're thinking about trying to bring healthier soul food to the global market, right? You know, non-GMO, no trans fat, things of that nature. So we were looking to help them with their distribution of their product, right? Company called Pristine Catering. They created an alternative to like a beef patty dough, which is vegan, non-GMO, no trans fat, no cholesterol, and it's like a puff pastry type of dough. Again, they needed help with trying to scale their company and bringing that product to the market. Another company I got to work with recently is a company called Notes Out for Munchkins. As a new father, I've learned realistically why they created this company. When I first started working with them, I didn't really understand, but it's a classical music concerts for people with very young children, right? So they create this environment of learning for not only the kids, but for adults to receive and enjoy classical learning. And then another company, TomApp, they are a data-driven platform working on sustainable living, right? And they're looking to try to help take the guesswork out of eating. They're based out in California. I've also had the pleasure of working with big business. For those who probably are paying attention to the news, especially with COVID, I used to work for Gilead Sciences, leading pharmaceutical company, and I was helping them with procurement strategy. And currently I'm working with a company, Fortune 500 company, One Diversified. They're the ones that do like the billboard signage in downtown, right? So a little bit about my story and my background is I'm a recent father. My daughter's 22 months, and that actually is what sparked the creation of BizMind Academy. So working with the way I work, I started to learn fast that to scale, you can't trade more of your time to be able to really make more money. And with constraints like being a new father and limited time, I really started thinking about how I could help my clients without actually me physically being able to help them one-on-one, because I've done a lot of one-on-one consulting. And so a lot of early stage entrepreneurs were strapped for funds, or they just didn't have the ability to work with me one-on-one. So I figured, let me just create some documents and then send them over in their self-help documents. And what I learned throughout that process is that clients need more than an explanation that's written in a document, right? This this community is a proof positive of the fact that it takes a lot more than just reading a document to learn something, right? And so what it ended up happening is I ended up coming up with this concept for, BizMind Academy, which is Warrior Consulting's online training platform that's really designed to empower entrepreneurs by helping them learn just like skills and tactics that can be quickly implemented into their day, right? So it's just about things that they can learn quick, easy, and then consume. Because I learned that most entrepreneurs are just super busy. They just don't have a lot of time to really take hours to learn something. They need help now. And so I designed BizMind Academy as that way to help people. So it took a while. I started really data dumping all of the stuff that's in my head, trying to really get it, formatted. And I'm in the process of continuing to build out BizMind Academy because I really want to help entrepreneurs. But as a father, and even COVID now has taught me I can't continue to do the one-on-one, nor do I want to continue to spend my time only and get the return on that investment. I really can't scale a business that way. And so my journey began with creating a time management course because most of my clients actually couldn't even take time in their schedule to be able to help themselves because they were always so busy. And so, we would come up with strategies, we'd talk about different things, we'd come up with a game plan, have a project plan, and they'd be really gung-ho and then never being able to execute. So we came up with a time management course. It's something I learned from my mentor. And it's actually inside of the Sun platform. I'm offering it for free. It's really basically 6 simple steps. Roy and I have actually been discussing them, and it's really just to help you take the guesswork out of how to approach your day as an entrepreneur and really gain some efficiencies. And then recently I'm launching a course, which is the 7 phases of a business launch. And this course kind of talks you through at a high level. It goes into all the different phases you're going to experience when launching your business, right? All the different things that you should be thinking of, and it's kind of like a checklist you should go through. I'm actually going to, I think module 3 or 4 of our discussion, I'm actually going to go through that course. The course is way more in detail, but we're going to go through it at a high level so that, you guys have that, and I'm going to leave you with some documents that you can kind of consume. As well as a business plan strategy course that I'm going to be launching. A lot of people need help writing business plans. And I've learned over the past 12 years that there's a different nuance in 2020 that needs to be handled when it comes to a business plan. And so we'll actually go through, again, that strategy, what to focus on, why you may or may not need a business plan, and really just kind of give you the high level. And then obviously once I launch the course, if you really need more, that course will be available. And then so other things I'm going to start learning and teaching within our journey together in Zen Art of Business is a friend of mine is a chatbot expert and email marketing strategy, helping design that course right now with him. And then I'm going to be able to bring over that content so that I can share that with you. So realistically, just want to give you guys a background, a little bit about me, who I am, where I came from, and what kind of drove me to be doing what I'm doing here today, which is helping you guys in this format, group conversations. So without further ado, let's just dive right in, right? So today we're going to begin our journey together. And our first topic that we're going to be talking about is the importance of your niche, right? And so here are what we're going to cover today is why pick a niche, right? Why is this really a topic that we're going to be talking about today? Some common niche mistakes, the new niche mindset. There's a way it's traditionally thought of as your niche, and I'm going to introduce you to, if you don't know already, the new niche mindset. I'm going to provide you with a niche formula, right? It's a simple formula of how to really narrow down and know for yourself that, you know what's going on with your niche. And then we're going to get into, what is your reason? And this is really going to drive you to make some real core conversational discussions with yourself and make some decisions about what your reason is for why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you an entrepreneur? And then we're going to get to the heart of the matter, right? So for most of us, right, we're going to be talking about 2 main goals in our reality for being content creators and for looking to scale our business and online presence, right? And that's primarily to make money, doing what we love full time, right? That one's pretty simple. And then to grow our brand and online presence with basically, it dovetails right back into the first one. That should help us make money to continue doing what we love to do full time, right? And so the focus of a lot of what we do, we need to go back to and remember that it's all about the monetizations of your efforts, right? You really want to work towards working hard, but actually starting to work smarter so that everything that you do helps you monetize. Because at the end of the day, if you want to do this full time, you have to think about it from a perspective of how can this really drive revenue so that I can actually do this for a living. And so that's something that we're gonna really go into. So, why pick a niche? Well, it's relatively simple, but picking a niche provides you and your potential clients clarity, right? It provides you clarity so you know what you do and what you offer. And so your target will know what you do and what you offer. And then clarity will equal focus. And we all have probably heard this before, but what you focus on expands, right? So you need, to not be all over the place when it comes to who you're trying to help and who you're trying to serve, and just really be focused on your clear niche, your targeted specific audience that you're really directing your efforts towards. And then when you're focused, it equals results, right? And I'm sure many of you have heard this analogy before, SMART goals, right? And so you can succeed in your two goals, which is growing your online presence and brand and making money doing what you love. You can succeed in those goals if you leverage the SMART formula for creating your goals. Your goals need to be specific. And you can't be specific if you don't know who you're targeting, and that's why you need your niche, right? It needs to be measurable. That can give you real, points to measure if you're being successful or not. And you should have a completion date, right? There needs to be a finite date for any tactic or thing that you do. It should have a start and an end, or at least a potential end, something you're targeting. And that allows you to make it achievable. So it needs to be specific. There's a specific action, measurable. There's a completion date, and then that's what makes it achievable, right? So the prerequisite for having a SMART goal is S is specific, right? And then measurable, achievable, realistic, and then time sensitive. And that's that completion date. So specific goals are typically very clearly defined, and they're easy to visualize, and they're easy to act upon. So for us, when we think about picking our niche, we need to learn to be specific so that we can then have clear action items, clearly defined things that we're going to do to help us reach that goal, right? And so I'm sure many of us have heard about this, but we want to become experts in our industry, and we want to become masters of what we do. Right? I'm sure many of us are seeking to become masters of what we do. And the formula for mastering anything, we've heard it's 10,000 hours, right? We want to become specialists, and because specialists earn more money, right? And that's another reason why you pick a niche, right? A specialist earns more money, they get more respect. So you can be a generalist, right? And many of us have no generalists, but then when we need something specific for a specific problem, we don't go to a generalist, we go to a specialist, right? And so we want to make ourselves specialists in our niche. And I wanted to put this visual up here so that you guys can kind of walk yourselves through the time commitment it takes for 10,000 hours. That's 8 hours a day. If you were to do 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 44 weeks out of the year, that's 5.5 years, right? So taking your time to understand that specialty, becoming a specialist in something really does take time. It means you have to have your blinders on and be focused so that you can be effective in your specialty, right? And so to master anything, once you master something, as you focus, you will gain more knowledge, right? Instead of spending 5, 10, 12 hours all over the place, that same 12 hours from one focused topic allows you to actually gain more knowledge, right? And we all know that a neurosurgeon gets paid a lot better than a general practitioner, right? A brain surgeon is a completely different level of specialty than just a general practitioner, right? And honestly, it also makes your marketing a lot more powerful when you have a very clear target, because you know who your target is and you know what you specialize in, right? So for someone marketing, I can be marketing as a general doctor versus I can say I am a brain surgeon who, takes care of these specific types of brain injuries. And now you're talking about a completely different level of payment that you receive, right? And based on this formula, let's be honest, it's hard to become the best in the world at multiple things. And I know all of us here are seeking to become probably the best in our industry in what we do. And so we need to focus and have our niche clearly defined so that we can actually put in our 10,000 hours, right? And so I'm sure many of you are probably thinking, well, that's a lot of time. Like, I don't even know, and you have some doubts as to if your niche is right or not right for you. So we're going to start going through some of the common mistakes that people think about their niche. And number one is thinking that once you pick your niche, you're trapped forever, right? You're not, like, you're married to your niche and you're stuck with your niche. So what if I don't like my niche, or what if I find a better niche? Well, we'll discuss this a little bit later, but your goal is to always be knowing that you are here to serve your niche. Thus, your niche should be one that you are actually best suited to provide value to. And you have to always think about that. That's why I'm saying, we're going to get to the heart of the matter later, talking about why you're in it and what you're doing this for, because you're here to serve and provide value, right? So if you are not in the right niche, you need to start understanding how to find your right niche, get some clarity so that you are actually always targeted and providing the value that you'd like to provide. Number two is you're undecided, right? You have many talents, you can't choose, you love doing many things. It's completely understandable, right? But as we just said, focus requires you to pick, you need to actually just decide, right? So focus equals clarity. So just decide, pick one. And as we stated, you pick that one, you get started, you start running down the path of that one, you'll either find that niche is not a good fit for you, or you find that it is a good fit, or you find that maybe you learn something and it can help you find your fit. The point is, you have to start, you have to pick, and you have to commit. Because let's be real, even though you love many things and you have many talents, not everything you love to do will actually be something that you can turn into a business that can then generate revenue for you, right? So we have to start learning to separate things that are hobbies and things that we can love to do and still do on the amount of free time that we have if we create a successful business, and things that we love to do, but we can also serve others with, right? That provides value. Because people will only pay you for you helping them solve a problem or giving them the value that they need. Right? And so we have to really keep in mind our consumers and put ourselves in their perspectives, put ourselves in our niche's perspective, get inside our mindset and understand that any of us, we don't pay just to pay. We pay for something that because we think it's valuable, it's going to help us, right? And so we have to always remember that when we're thinking about doing this full time, we have to remember that the value is all we are here to offer. And so the third mistake most people always feel like is that they actually have nothing to offer, right? And so they don't want to pick a niche, they just kind of want to tiptoe around because they're like, I have no value. And that is one of the common mistakes. I'm here to say that you don't have to feel like that, right? Because that you can create value because you inherently have value. You are unique in who you are as an individual, and you owe it to yourself to comb through your many talents and find your value, right? So start by looking to serve others with your talents, right? Find out what people need and see where you fit in. And we'll talk about, your ability to do that. There's a 3-ring formula that can help you really find that for yourself, but never actually believe that you don't have value. You can compare yourself to other people and see what they're doing, but do not do that. That is not the way to find your gifts from within and how to channel those into a revenue income generating business, right? So it's actually a common niche mistake that people don't pick a niche because they're like, I don't have value. I'm going to just try to see if I can figure this out without actually, knowing that they actually have value. And then a lot of us maybe even undervalue ourselves, and right? And we'll talk about that a little bit more, but undervaluing ourselves. So we can never charge what we really need to charge to actually make this into a full-time living, right? And if we need to provide more value to charge what we want to charge, then we need to kind of understand that and then go towards doing that. Mistakes number 4 and 5, right? Is number 4 is a fun favorite of mine, is copying what others are doing, right? And it seems like a good idea, but the reality of it is, you need to own your own decision. And yes, you can model and learn from other people, but don't copy, right? Be authentic, own your power, do things your way, right? And number 5, just being too afraid to be you and do what you know you want to do. A lot of people don't pick their niche because their niche, they just feel like, well, what if I come across a certain way? Especially for us as awakened beings and spiritual content creators, this is a little bit of a trepidatious, journey we're on, right? We're putting ourselves out there, in these areas of expertise, and we're not sure how to be perceived, right? And so it's up to you to find out what your genuine value and your genuine gifts are. You must find it. So don't be afraid to be yourself, right? Be genuine, because as we've noticed as content creators, especially as you start learning more about how to really excel in Instagram, Roy's posted some lessons on that, right? Your genuine self is what people are looking to connect with, right? So don't be afraid to be a genuine self, right? We are capable of actually being ourselves in this community and find like-minded individuals that actually will support you. So be your authentic self and go for it, right? And so the normal niche examples, right, are typically based on your role and your title. And so I'm going to give you the normal niche examples, and I'm going to give you the new niche mindset. So typically, your title or your role, it puts people into these like business to business relationships or business to consumer relationships. So like a business to business relationship example is like, I serve accountants, or I serve lawyers or doctors or insurance or manufacturing, printing, shipping. Business to consumer is like, it's high income earners versus low income earners, or teenagers or adults or couples or families, right? And what I've noticed is in the points of the new niche mindset is that this actually puts people in limited categories, right? You're just targeting accountants or lawyers or doctors, right? But inherently, one of the flaws with this way of thinking is the issue is that there's no inherent value that comes with a title, right? Being a doctor doesn't automatically make you good at it, right? Being a lawyer or saying you have high income doesn't actually help people make any decision, right? So there's no clear problem solution message, right? And that's part of what we'll talk about later in our calls, but there should be a problem solution message when it comes to how you market and how you connect with your niche. And just being a lawyer or a doctor doesn't mean anything as to how good you are. I mean, that's part of the reason why social media has become so valuable, is because social media has become the tool to help us make decisions, to find the good people who are actually providing value, because testimonials and likes and follows and all these things, people are sharing with you who is good. So you can find yourself a doctor, but what do? We look for the reviews and see who's actually a good doctor before we make a decision, right? So the old niche mindset is kind of dated in the fact that it doesn't really encompass the individual involved in any of these transactions, right? So the new niche mindset is what I want to talk to you about. And it changes what instead of thinking of that you're selling in terms to a business of business or to business to consumer, we switch it. And we switch that mindset and just know that it's a person-to-person interaction, right? And you are a person with a business behind you. And so it becomes a business-to-person interaction. And that's really all you're doing, right? So we're all people. And some of us might fall into many titles. Like I specifically am a dad. I'm a CEO. I'm a creative, right? So to properly market, cross-market to me, a person like me with the old niche mindset, it'd be very difficult because which one do you pick to try to get my attention? Versus the new niche focuses on what people want to become. And that's what we're here providing content all about. We're providing content for people who want to become something, right? We're all about transformation, right? And we're all transforming into the people that we want to be, right? We're all growing, we're all changing, we're all evolving. And for those of us who are recently awakening, we're finding this to be very true, right? Like what used to work for us, what used to resonate never doesn't resonate anymore, and we're evolving, right? So when you start thinking about that, you start thinking about what people want to become. You look at people who want to become accountants or lawyers, right? So that could be a niche, or low income earners who want to become high income earners, right? There's many people that can fall within that, but they all share the same common energetic heart space, desire, which is that they're trying to become something. Or in our community, like those who want to become free of their money blocks. That's a clear niche, right? There's many of us, male, female, in any different profession, that we can want that ability to be free of our money blocks, or single people who want to have families. So they want to meet their significant other, and to do that, they need to clear themselves of their past relationship issues, right? So they need to go in and dig out some of that stuff. So if you have a service that can target and help people with that desire, that's a completely different niche. It connects at a heart space. Or adults who want to live like children, right? Freedom from the mundane. I think a lot of us fall into that category. I know myself, I fall into that category because I don't want to work 10, 12, 15 hours a day. I want to be free. I want to do what I love. I want to have passion. I want to, have a lot of free time, right? So having anybody help me with that ability to live more free, that's a niche that can span many different titles, right? So let's get into the new niche formula of how you figure that out. And this, is not mine. This is one from a course that I take, but it's a simple formula, and I think it's very clear. And this is what you need to start thinking through when you ask yourself how you're serving, right? So you have to say, I help blank, which is my niche, to do whatever that thing is they desire, right? By providing your product or service, right? Selling them your product or service. Because all of us have a current situation, and if you're thinking about what people want to become, then you have to help them get from their current situation to their desired situation, what they're trying to become. And how you help them do that is with your product or service, right? So I help accountants, niche, old niche, grow their business online. That's what they need. And then by doing digital ad marketing. If I'm a digital ad marketer, that is my service that I give to specifically accountants. But a little bit more specific for a lot of us, right? I help spiritually conscious or awakened souls to clear their money blocks by providing EFT sessions, right? There's a clarity of focus when it comes to having your niche be clearly defined. And so you can go through this simple question and answer session for yourself and fill in those blanks and get yourself some clarity on your niche, right? So let's start going to really how to understand this a little bit deeper, right? So there's this circle formula that'll help you understand your niche, right? We've got the industry, which is the industries that you've got your skills, and you've got the market needs, right? So when you are clear on your niche, you can use this circle of influence to find your sweet spot, right? And so based on your niche, you will need to be clear on the needs of your market. And that's like, what is a problem that they require a solution to, right? Where can you put your current products or services in to solve their problem, right? And so then you ask yourself, if I don't have a clear fit with your current niche or product, you don't have a current product or service for that niche, then you ask yourself two questions. Is this niche right for me? Or do I plan to create a different product or service that actually fits the needs of their niche, right? And the way you do this is simple. You just have to do this a comparison matrix with these three pieces. And it starts with the market's needs, right? Your niche. If you know your niche and you start asking them questions and you find out what they need, then you compare your skills, the skills that you currently have, or maybe skills you can acquire, because all of us are growing, and that's why we're in this platform. We can learn some skills, right? I'm not the best currently at making YouTube videos or things of that nature, but I think by the time I'm done working with some of you, I'll be able to create some really cool videos with some nice thumbnails and things of that nature. So that's a skill set that I can add so that now I can better serve my niche. So you can learn, right? But it's about your skills, right? And it's about industries that you know. So you need to, either A, get some knowledge on those industries, or B, actually do your research on the industry or use an industry that you know. And then the market's desires and their needs. This is the actual most important. Everything is driven by the market's desires and their needs. So take your time to survey your market. Ask them questions. And I have some questions that I can provide will be inside of the platform to help you get inside your market's head, because it's not about what you think, it's about what they think. Get inside their head, find their need, find their pain point, and then you can help better serve them with understanding your industry knowledge and your skills, right? And so this is all about finding what I call your sweet spot, right? So your sweet spot is where your niche intersects all three, right? This is where you can make the most impact on your niche. So you know the market needs, you took your time, you did your research, you know the market needs, and the needs match an industry that you're actually familiar with or you learned about, right? And then you have the skills to provide a solution to that market's needs. That's how you find your sweet spot, right? And it's a cyclical loop, it's a cyclical argument. You keep taking feedback from the market, keep assessing the industries, and then keep assessing and growing your skills. And that's how you get into the point where you can really find your sweet spot, right? So all of this takes time. All of this takes energy. All of this takes focus. All of this takes discipline, right? And your niche needs to be about serving them. So it comes back to this simple question, which is why I asked this earlier. It's a lot of time, energy, and hard work to be an entrepreneur, right? So why are you doing this? Why are you an entrepreneur? We'll go into this next lesson a lot more, but why, you ask yourself, what is your reason, right? Why are you an entrepreneur? Is entrepreneurship just a means to an end, or is it actually the goal in itself, right? And that's where we've got to start digging within and seeing why we're doing this, because this is a hard journey. I'm going to be honest with you. I've consulted over 40, 50 startup businesses, and I've worked with Fortune 500s, and a lot of startup businesses can't get off the ground because of personal issues, not necessarily their product or their service, but the blocks that we have to clear personally, because we have to start understanding why we do what we do and take ownership of our decisions, right? And so what your reason is will drive you very, very, very strong throughout your entrepreneurial journey, because you're going to hit roadblocks, you're going to hit walls, and you're going to either fail or quit if your reason is not one that's strong enough, if your reason is not purposeful, right? But if you are doing this for the right reasons, every failure you will start seeing as feedback, and we'll talk about that, right? Every roadblock is actually an obstacle. It's a learning lesson, right? And you embrace those because you're on a mission, here to do something, here to serve others, and that's really what you're focused on. So take the time to go through and analyze what is your reason, because it's going to come back to bite you if you aren't clear on that. And to do what I just discussed, to help your niche and help provide your niche their value, you need to put some time into it, right? So, yes, you can get popular, you can get lots of likes, but that doesn't actually necessarily mean you will make money, right? Because to do this full time, you will need to be focused on others, on solving others' problems and truly providing value, right? And people pay for solutions to their problems. It's really much that simple. You're either relieving some type of pain that they have, or you're helping them experience something that makes them happy, right? So if you're not in it to serve others, it's going to really be difficult to turn this into a business and make money so you can do it full time, right? So, really take the time to ask yourself what your reason is, and then find, if you're doing something that you don't love to the point where you can continue to do this, then take the time to find that niche that actually is a fit for you, that's passion driven, that you really want to serve others, right? So it's about this giving to get, providing value, right? You should be focused on providing others value and solving people's problems, right? And so you're gonna have to give a lot to be able to get, right? And so part of what we do as content creators is we put out our value in our videos, right? And so there needs to be thought behind why you do your videos and what you're doing in your videos. And with a niche, you have clarity on why you make your videos and how your videos can even be structured and tailored, because you know what your niche needs, what their problems are, right? And I'm sure the video aspect is going to provide some value, but some of us need a lot more than just watching a 5-minute video. It helps, right? But some of us need a lot more, and that's where our services and products can come in to help our niche, right? So, if your goal is to do this for a living, you have to make money, right? And so that's why I brought up the money blocks thing, is because I myself have personally struggled with this as well. I'm helping entrepreneurs, people need real help and they come to me, and then I had to struggle for a while with charging what I feel I deserve to be able to actually do it full time. And so, that's why I have a lot of big business clients, because they have the budgets and I don't feel bad to charge them, right? But at the end of the day, we have to work through our blocks because we need to do this full time, right? And ultimately, you have to make money, but to make money, you must be solving a problem that people will pay for, right? So understanding what people will pay for, again, comes from knowing your niche, comes from spending time asking questions, connecting with people, truly understanding how they feel and what they need, right? And how to help them. So let's get to the heart of the matter, right? This is not about you. This is about service, right? And that's one of the hardest things for most entrepreneurs who get in business. I've talked to lots over the last few years, is they get in business thinking it's all about them. And it's not. You may be great at what you do, but it's not about you. It's about providing a value and a service to others that helps them. And if you really want to make money doing that, you need to know that it's valuable, and people will pay for what's valuable, right? So you got to start realizing that, some of your lack or personal issue mentality things will stop you from being successful, right? Because if you let your personal issues stop you from being of service to others and putting yourself out there, right, and helping others, you're just doing the world a disservice, because you have great value, right? And if you can go out there and brave it and solve others' problems, then you're here to enrich others' lives, right? So knowing your worth, clearing your blocks, focusing on providing your value, right? Because honestly, most people think that it's always about marketing fancy stuff and all this extra cool stuff, that they think that why marketing works is because of the fancy stuff that they see. But the urge to better ourselves is actually what drives advertising, and what makes advertising works, right? And if you know your market, you know your niche, you know how they're trying to better themselves, again, their current situation versus their desired situation and what they're trying to become, then it's easy to communicate to them with your marketing, right? Because your marketing copy, it does not create that desire that they have. It only helps channel it and direct it to you, who has the solution to their problem. And that's all it's all about, right? So take that time to understand that your niche is really, really how you underlie a lot of these systemic issues that a lot of entrepreneurs face in their business. But to be able to do this, you got to realize it's not about you. You got to put the time, energy, and effort into helping others, and it has to come from a heart space, right? So take the time to process this, and then really do yourself and do the world a service, and get out there and start helping others, right? That's really what I'm here to say. So today, closing statements, I'm going to give a recap just of what we discussed, right? We talked about your niche because you want to specialize, why you pick a niche. We talked about the common niche mistakes, right? Being trapped, undecided, thinking you have no value. The new niche mindset, what people are becoming. The niche formula, I help X to do Y by providing value Z, right? And then, what is your reason? Is it this a means, or is this the end in itself? Is this entrepreneurial journey that you're going on the end in itself? Because this is what drives you, and this is why you're put on this planet to help others. And you don't really care how long it's going to take you to figure out how to do this full time, right? That's what you need. And then the heart of the matter, because it's not about you. It's about serving others, right? And so we'll go deeper into your reason and continue to explore these topics and more topics in our next session. It's actually titled Mind Strategy, Mind Discipline, and Mind Habits, right? And so our first few lessons, are all about mindset. I need to really focus on the mindset first before I can start actually helping you guys with strategies and tactics. So it's a foundational building block pyramid that we build with the foundation of mindset, and then we build on different streams of topics that are related to mindset until we have that foundation. After that, I'm going to start throwing tactics and strategies at you so that you guys can really start taking advantage of a lot of the things that we all have learned, whether it's from courses, personal experience, or working with other entrepreneurs. I myself have had the pleasure of working with a lot of entrepreneurs. I've seen where they've failed and I've seen where they've succeeded. So I'm hoping to just provide all of that knowledge to you guys, and we'll continue to learn together. Right, but that is today's presentation on your niche. Next, we have the ability to just have Q&A. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then we can start having a conversation. So you guys can unmute and start talking. Feel free. Anybody have any questions? Feel free. Let's get started.
Well done, Arvell. Love that, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like it. Well, I find it very interesting, and actually, in a way, confirms what I had in my mind. And actually, now I have more ideas. Many ideas came through about how I can I can move further with what I'm doing, because I'm focusing now in money blocks. And now I have more ideas about how to make it, more in depth, or to be more specialized. Because when I'm working with money blocks, I don't have a specific person in mind. I'm just talking to everyone who has money blocks. But actually, I can be more specialized, and I can do something work on entrepreneurs, fears and money blocks specifically. Just be more specific.
Right. You can have different things within money blocks that you focus on, right? So when you're communicating your message, if you have someone who has a money block with a specific tinge to it, right? Then when you say that, that's going to be like, oh, I have that. Because if you might just say money block, maybe some people don't think they have a money block, but then you explain it in a different way, and then you tie it to something that's important to them, and then they're like, oh, actually that relates to me. I didn't even think I had a money block, but now I realize I am doing these things that people do, that she says, if you do this, it's indicative of having a money block, right? And so part of what we will talk about is also in your marketing message, the education piece, right? Because a lot of us don't even know how to find the solution to the problem that we have if you are the one who has that solution. We don't know how to communicate, how we communicate to others what they are experiencing and how we can recognize it and then help them, with that problem. Because most of us don't always recognize that we actually have a problem. We may think, for a lot of us, that, I can't make money because I don't have skills, not realizing that it's a fear-based money block from something from childhood, right? And if you were to say to the average person, you have a money block, they're gonna be like, no, it's the economy, it's this industry that I'm in, it's what I'm offering, right? And so helping educate with your marketing message is also part of what we discuss, that helps you help your clients find you because you talk to them in a different way.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got more ideas now.
Awesome. Great.
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else?
Yeah, I found it really helpful because this is something that I definitely struggle with because I feel like my genre is very broad right now. And what I think I primarily focus on people who feel stuck in life or they feel like without purpose or searching for more meaning, but I'm trying to figure out how to nail it down even further. You know, is it they feel stuck in their career, like relationship or living, you know, it's basically people who are kind of living out of alignment. So if you have any advice or suggestions on how to narrow it even further.
So if you have any engagement with anybody in your community that likes your videos, that comments or anything, ask. Just ask. People who are liking your content means there's something you're talking about that they're interested in. So ask, what are you experiencing? And then just start asking people questions and you'd be surprised. Right, I surveyed some of you to help me tailor the courses. You'd be surprised asking 2 or 3 people in your niche what they're experiencing, how that can really help you go, oh, that's what I need to help them with, right? That's how I need to help solve a problem. So just ask. If you have the ability to ask. And then if you're probably not going to get everybody to answer, but you're going to get some feedback, and it's going to help you at least make some decisions because it's not coming from your head. It's coming from people you're looking to serve.
Right. Cool. Thanks.
Perfect. Roy, any questions, comments?
Yeah, Arvell. So what if just it's a little a trickier question.
Perfect.
I know you like a challenge. Yeah, buddy. So what if somebody is in the process, right? They're in the beginning phase of choosing their niche. And I know you said to just pick one. So what if them like maybe feeling anxious or not having the ability to pick one is keeping them stuck where they're at, so they can't make that decision, so therefore they're not progressing at all in the business? What would you say at that point, bro?
Well, so that's part of the reason why, at least here with us, we're here with a like-minded community, and hopefully we can have others call us on our, excuse my expletive, call us on our shit, right? And so we need the help. We need to seek help. So if we are finding that we're doing the same thing over and over, that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So I suggest reaching out to others and getting feedback is always a good way to know if you're in a cyclical loop. But at the end of the day, you also have to take time to go within. We talk about that in the mind habits, mind strategy, having a meditation practice, having an awareness practice. So you can start to get to know yourself and be honest with yourself. It really helps because all of who you are comes across in your product and service. And if you're not honest with yourself, people pick up on it. It's energetic, right? So if you are doubting yourself, if you're doubting what you're offering, if you're just unclear on that, you got to clear that out. And that's why I brought up clearing up money blocks, because a lot of us work hard and then we're afraid to charge. And then we blame everything else, but that's our fear that's stopping us, right? So we have to realize that clearing a lot of our work is a huge part of this money and business journey. A lot of my entrepreneur clients, a lot of them is not their product or service that I've actually had to help them with. That's part of the reason why I got into this. I was originally just a project manager helping people on projects, and then I have these strategy session conversations that are all about almost like therapy, because I started realizing that these people I'm helping, what's stopping them is not their product or service. Their product or service is amazing, but all these other blocks, personal things, are stopping them. And then so we started having strategy sessions, and I'm doing strategy sessions, and I realized, oh my God, there's a whole industry on strategy. I was just doing it because I personally had my own business, had experience with business. And so when I'm talking in a group and someone asks a question and they're like, hey, can you help? I started answering questions. And that's actually how I got into being a business strategist, is because I found that a lot of people needed help with the mindset stuff, right? So to your point, Roy, use this community, have people hold you accountable, to push you, right? Iron sharpens iron. So use this community to help you to be accountable, and then also look within and be honest with yourself. And if you're not ready and there's some block that you're facing, no matter what you do, you can't cover that up. You've got to do what it takes to clear that block so that you can move forward, right?
Love it, bro. Thank you for that, Arvell.
Not a problem. Karen, I see you on there.
Yeah, thanks
Hi.
so much, Arvell. I really enjoyed everything that you said. And I have a question, particularly when you said help people experience something that makes them happy.
Yes.
And I really am resonating with that, of giving an experience rather than a particular product,
Yep.
at least at this point in my development.
Yep.
And thank you, Roy, for asking that question about the anxiety, because, you know, I'm anxiety prone to begin with. And when I start
Yeah.
thinking like I've got to get focus on a niche, and it confuses me, because I'm just there kind of giving my energy, and it
Yeah.
seems to be flowing well and it's working. But then I'm like, wait a second, am I being responsible? I have to, you know, I've got to make a business and I've got to
Right.
niche into something.
Right. And
And
so
I
that's the
don't
thing.
know.
And you,
Yeah.
you need to energetically align, right? So if that means 20% of your time you spend to just energetic endeavors and 80 is spent, or 40-60, give that split where you can put some of your time into doing things that are just based on the energy, and then some of your time into some actions that are driven towards profit and revenue, right?
Okay.
Then that's what you need to do. You have to be honest with yourself. You can't just turn the switch off and go full-fledged business and not align with your energetic side, right? But you do have to be responsible, because you do need to focus on income generating activities, right? And so being able to align your energy with, okay, you know what, I'm going to start out with 20% of the time now, I'm going to be focusing on income generating activities, and then just break it down into simple steps and things. So if you have an 8-hour work day, then 2 hours, you know, you just spend on some income generating activities, and then really take the time to build that out until you can feel way more comfortable with. Maybe 80% of the time you're targeting everybody, but that 20%
Right.
focus on that niche.
That's helpful.
And then you just focus on that niche for that 20% and see how it goes. This is all about testing. It's a game, to be honest. Business is a game. You have to test, right? Every real entrepreneur that has been successful, like the Einsteins of the world, they were scientists. They were just trial and error, testing this. If this doesn't work, pull it out, right? A lot of us actually are quote unquote test dummies for people's products. We don't realize it, but all of us probably have an iPhone 11 or 12. That means the first version wasn't perfect, right? But they put it out there. It's called your minimum viable product. They put it out there to test, and how they've made it better, and how they've made it a product that can consistently sell for $800 is because we made it better. We told them what to put in it.
Yeah.
Right? We said, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, do this, and they did it, and then people are paying for it. We answered their call, right? So that's what you will learn by trying to reach your target niche, is you're going to get that feedback, and then you're going to create something that is not for you, it's for them, and then you will not have as much of a difficulty charging for it and selling it, because it has the value inherent, and so people will pay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. That really helps. Thanks.
You're welcome. Eleanor, hi.
Right, hi. So I really enjoy this whole session. I think it kind of from the beginning to the end, it gives a very nice overview, and it helps me to get a lot of little pieces in my mind to, you know, come together, like to be focused. So it makes a lot of sense, especially the reason. What's my reason and all that? It reminded me that it is from my pain, and also from how I was able to help myself through the pain. So this is the value I can provide for other people. So in the past, I keep thinking, my reason is because of my pain of my pain. That kept being stuck in my mind. But today, when I was listening to you, that insight suddenly came that it's not just my pain, but it's how I was able to overcome, how that particular incident that helped me to gain insights on a problem that I was stuck on. So this combination, I guess, would be able to communicate how I can help my clients better. Mm-hmm.
Because others have experienced your problem, right? We all know that others experience the same problems that we do. So if you've experienced it, someone else has. And if it was painful for you, it's probably painful for them. So if you can help them through that pain, and that was one of the things we'll talk about, right? You need to solve a painful problem. Most people pay the most high value, dollar value for painful problems. We'll pay $5, $10 for something that's a nice to have, but we pay, I mean, we all have done it. We pay a lot for something that's painful, right? If you had a toothache and it's killing you, and the doctor said I can get it out in an hour, and it's going to cost a couple thousand. Okay, where's my medical insurance? Like dentist insurance, like we pay for painful problems, right? So understanding a person's pain is actually is important, right? Because some of the people who will pay you the most are the ones who need it the most. And when we can help someone with that pain, right, energetically, we have to understand that that's valuable, because we don't want anyone to suffer. We're awakened spiritual beings. No one should be suffering. And so that's part of the reason why I talk about your reason and getting out of the way of your own blocks, is because people are suffering and you have a solution and you can help, but your fear is stopping you. So you owe it to yourself to get rid of that fear and then help people on this planet, right? Perfect. So I'm going to continue to share the more insights. I'll put up some documents within the community. I'll invite everybody and then open it up shortly. I've created a course module for this. It's going to be in the courses section so that we can load up videos. I've got some action items. I really want you guys to do that niche exercise. So I'm going to provide that document. And then, any other nice to haves. I actually have a couple bonus things that I'm going to throw in there for you guys so you can check those out. And then we can continue to grow on this, because the Business 101 piece is really what I want to provide. And so it's the Zen art of business. I don't want you guys to see business as, especially as creatives. I'm a creative. I've learned that I'm a creative, thank God, because I used to see myself as analytical, just edgy, right? But as a creative, you have to start realizing that energy matters, right? And you can't just let your mind dictate. So why I call it the Zen art of business is because there's a balance that we need. We need to be tactical, but we also need to be energetically, aligned with what we're doing, right? We always need to be in integrity with our true self. And when we do that, everything flows so much more effortlessly. And so I used to be militant in forcing myself to wake up and do certain things to get accomplished stuff. And I noticed that it would take me longer to do something when I'm forcing myself than, the 2 or 1 hour I focus when I'm in the right energetic state. I can do something for 6, 7, 8 hours and still not get it right. But then I'm in the right energetic state and it flows for an hour. It's amazing. Yeah. Right, so we have all of these things we have to think about. So this whole experience that I'm trying to design for you guys, podcasts, I'm going to try to, do some podcasts. I have some guest stars that I want to bring on, industry experts who have or manage content creators. One of my friends, close friends, he owns a digital ad agency for content creators. Most of his talents, as he calls them, have million or more followers, on their respective platforms, whether, some have hundreds of thousands on like Instagram, but on the YouTube level, he usually has 1 million and up, right? And so he shared a lot of insights with me that I want to share with you about this. And it's part of the reason why we want to make sure you understand the way the algorithm works and the business side, the monetization. And then he can just also, I'm going to try to come on here to talk directly to you guys, to give you guys feedback on this journey, right? And how to succeed. Like, he and his clients are succeeding. So, I really am going to continue to try to pump as much knowledgeable information into the Zen Art of Business experience, focusing on the one-on-ones of business, so that you guys can really consume and learn, right? But part of what I have to stress, and I'm stressing it today because it's really important, is I can't do the work for you, right? We all know this. We all are awake, and we know that we have to do the work. And no matter how much I teach you, no matter how much I communicate, if you are not brave, if you don't do the work, if you don't put in the effort, you will get no results. I don't care how many courses you take. I don't care how many people you watch speak. If you don't do the work, you get no results, right? And that's why I put up that slide of the give and the get, right? You have to still put out that energy. Creating your platform or your product, that's you doing your work, right? Taking the time to think about it, to strategize, doing your work, right? Getting out there and reaching out to people and connecting, doing your work. And then when money starts to flow in, accolades, connections, resources, all of that starts to come to you, it's not because it just came magically. It's because it's an energetic exchange. You put out, you did your work, and now it's coming back, right? But it stops flowing when you stop doing your work, when you start doing and being energetically aligned with giving, right? And giving is from your mind to your actions. So Any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, anything else, please feel free to share. Crystal, if you want to say anything, I didn't call on you yet, but.
I thought it was amazing. It was definitely a good reminder for me, even though we live in the same house and I get to talk to you all day. So thank you. And it sounds like everyone on the call really benefited from this as well. So thank you for putting this together, for kicking in your creative genius and putting together all these slides. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. She can let you guys know, like, the creative thing is really something that I've struggled with, right? And so making aesthetic slides, I didn't just start out like that. I learned. I said, you know what, I need to learn. I took this course, you know, Steve Jobs presentations, and I wanted to learn because I wanted to be better, because I wanted to provide value, right? I didn't want things to be boring. I didn't want things to just, you know, not lack the value, especially the quality that I want to provide, but I didn't necessarily have those skills. And so what this community is all about is Roy can help you some stuff, learn some stuff. Jen can help you. Eleanor will help me. Vivi will help me. Karen, you can help me. We will all help each other. And then we all level up, learn skill sets that then can, when we get ourselves and put ourselves out there, people are like, whoa. And it's like, yeah, because I learned some techniques that Jen taught me about how to do this little video. Oh, right. You know what I mean? Like, you start feeling that confidence because you learn from each other, right? And I'm not naturally good at certain things, right? And we just talked about it, right? 10,000 hours. If you spend a lot of time focused on over here, you're lacking over there, and that's fine. That's why you leverage community, you leverage other people, you leverage help, right? And getting out of your own way, your ego, that was one of the big things for me, is I had to learn to start asking for help. I had to learn to start concealing from other people to help me get better. And so, you know, I'm grateful for that, because I'm not gonna lie, if you guys would see my original slides, they were not as pretty, right? But I'm grateful, right? And I'm learning, and we're all learning, right? So, yeah, any questions, please come to me. If you don't have a question that you want to ask, or maybe something comes to you later, definitely hit me up in the platform. Happy to communicate, go back and forth with you guys. But really, this type of communal talking that we're doing right now, this is what I normally do with my clients on strategy sessions, right? We just strategize. And so I play devil's advocate, right? And we do thought experiments, because you have to experiment to find solutions, right? And you cannot find solutions when you're in a bubble, only talking to yourself. I mean, it's kind of crazy to talk to yourself and you answer yourself, right? We all do it, but we don't get the real insight when it comes to actually getting someone else's perspective. So having all of you guys on here helps me learn what works, what doesn't work, the feedback, right? Because I will always iterate and make my courses better. And that's something we'll talk about in our future sessions, is you have to grow, you have to learn, you have to iterate. So evolving is part of our transformative process. As, you know, awakened beings. So I'm here to help. I just want to make sure you guys know that. So please, any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I'm good, Arvell.
Yeah, I think we're good. And what time is it? 12:30. All right, so we're ending right on time.
Perfect.
Yeah, so you know, you guys can always reach out to us and ask questions. We're all going to work together. And again, I just wanted to thank all of you guys here on the call today for making the call and for being part of the community, and for all of your feedback. Everything has been very helpful. So very grateful for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful Saturday, and I look forward to connecting personally with every one of you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.